All right, so here we are at J&D Audio Studios. I'm with my friend Jan, and I'm Julio or JD. And we're going to discuss a couple of different guitar styles. Is that what we're going to do?
Yep.
So what were the two styles that we're going to go after here?
You were discussing blues and I was mentioning metal.
Let's start with that. What would you consider a metal song or a metal riff, and can you play it?
Enter Sandman then? So.
Oh, yeah, right. I've heard of it. All right.
Everybody knows that one.
Okay. You're doing like a lot of fifths, right?
Power chords.
All right, power chords, yeah. And that's a power chord, right? When you do fifths and stuff, right? So it's just basically the heavy strings on the guitar, right?
Yeah, so basically you're just taking out the third. So there's no minor third, there's no major third. That's
right.
what gives it that crunchy sound.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's just these strings. So basically it's your root, and you have an octave of the root, right? If you do that, and then the fifth, right? So that's it. And when you add this one in, that's the third, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely a difference between that and this.
Yeah,
right?
One sounds more crunchy than the other one. That's what I like to do.
Right, yeah. So a lot of metal is like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
With power chords?
Like 90% of it.
What's another one that has fifths and stuff like that?
What about something like Crazy Train? So something like
okay. Okay, so those are all fifths, right? Okay, so that's a good one. Is there any metal song that incorporates thirds or anything during sections of it, or?
Well, yeah, going back to like Crazy Train,
right?
That main riff right there. So you got the fifths right there, but during like the other parts, you got.
There you go. Okay, so that's what I. Okay, so they do have some
dynamics going on, yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's not just power chords. Okay. So what was that riff like again? So that's actually a chord when you do that thing with the thirds and everything in there. Okay. So it's not just fifths. Okay. Another thing. Okay. When we're talking about metal songs, or just actually any song, say it's a metal song because that's what you're most familiar with. When you do a solo, when you improvise, what's like the first ingredient that you should? How do you start off a solo when you're doing like a song, like a metal song? I'm just going to use that as, or actually anything. How do you approach a solo?
I think it depends on the mood, like the tempo and all that. If it's something that's fast, you definitely want to come in, aggressive and like you're attacking the guitar, You want something that's screaming,
Right.
If it's something slower, usually I want to think of something that's more like passionate feeling, a lot of feeling behind it.
Like a slow moving song.
Yeah.
Like that, right? That's a slow song. So that's a like a slow song. Like a fast one would be something like, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. So like if I was playing this slow one, right? What would you play to this progression, right? So I'm doing it in A minor, right? So how would you start off a solo to this? So I'll go through the progression once, and then just play whatever.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you how you came up with that.
Okay.
So we'll just see what happens. This is like off the cuff, So anyway, so I'll play something like 1, 2, 3, 4. that's cool. Okay. So basically, you were just doing basically a lot of is it pentatonic things? Is that like where you were going like stuff like that?
Yeah, just keeping it simple. So just outlining that area.
Okay.
Yeah, nice and simple.
So yeah, and of course I saw you resolving to the root all the time, like the A, right? Okay, that's good. So I'll do the same thing, but I'll do it like a major thing and like a faster progression.
Okay.
Like it's not going to be a metal thing, but it's going to be like just kind of like a blues thing, because just that's the easiest for right now, because that way we don't have to remember a song per se. We could just do a progression. So say if I do something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty cool. All right. So it was a little bit kind of like a happier feeling, right?
Right.
Yeah. So were you doing anything different there than when you were doing in the minor ones, or?
No, just keeping it simple again, just trying to stay in that area.
Were you doing a lot of pentatonics again, or?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I was just trying to follow the way the chords were moving around and...
Okay. Yeah, because I was saying you were probably doing different spacing between notes and stuff like that, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it didn't sound the same as like when you were doing it against the minor. Oh, okay. Like show me a riff that you kind of were influenced by, or that you learned and then you took off from, that and kind of made it your own, right?
Uh-huh. Well, what comes to mind right now is, guitarists like Jason Becker and Marty Friedman. Mm-hmm. They were heavily influenced like on like Japanese style music.
Okay.
They would do, stuff like... So just stuff like that.
What kind of scale is that now?
I don't remember the exact name of it, but it is exotic sounding.
Yeah,
right?
It is, yeah.
So
it doesn't sound like...
Doesn't sound like the typical stuff, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, like right here, like right away you have that
the
minor second.
Yeah.
So, depending on the song and the mood and all that, like I'll try to do stuff like that where it's pretty much like a I would say like a Phrygian kind of thing, because
okay.
It has the half steps in there. So
right. And that's almost, well, I guess it doesn't kind of sound like that because it doesn't have any half steps. It's whole steps. Mm-hmm. That's why they call it a whole step. But then they have the other one, which is like... Right? Mm-hmm. That's the, what do they call that? God, the name diminished.
Uh-huh.
The diminished runs. That thing that you were showing me with the half step, that almost sounds like a diminished, because it would be... There's the half steps right there. And the scale you played, what does it sound like? Yeah, it's kind of...
So it's missing the third right there.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends where you start too, right? Because you start here. You start... Mm-hmm. Kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Okay, so I see where you're coming from. Yeah, that definitely sounds more exotic than the typical... Right. So that exotic thing now, can you apply that to like any progression, or does it only work in certain styles?
Well, I would have to take into consideration what chord progression is going on beneath that.
Yeah.
Like I noticed when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right there. Just starting out, there's no third involved. It's missing the C natural.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think I'd want to play it if it had like a raised third and you had the opposite going on, or vice versa.
I see. Yeah, it would clash.
It would be clashing. It's gonna sound harsh.
Okay. What chords would you play that over? Or what kind of progression? Like, say if I had something like can you play it over something like that?
I think the safest bet off the top of my head would be like 5 chords, because you don't have to worry about the third right there.
5 chords?
Yeah, power chords like here.
So if I would just go like
there's no third to worry about, so it's like safer territory.
Oh, I see.
It's like 2 different styles coming together.
And that's because I'm doing it on the A, so you're pivoting on the A, right? Off the A. Okay, I see. So if you were to play a regular scale against against this, what would it sound like? Like the pentatonic things that you were doing, right? So I'm gonna play the same thing and then play like a regular pentatonic. I want to hear the difference.
Okay.
So if I would go the same thing, like. Okay, now play the other one, just so we can have it back to back. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more tension in there. So yeah, okay. So even though it's the same chords going on, it pulls it in a different direction. Than that. Yeah, that's interesting that would work like that. When you're doing a solo in those kind of scales, it's not necessarily as melodic, right? It just tends to be more of a push-pull type thing, right? And that's intentional, correct?
Yeah.
So that you wouldn't use it as a melody type thing, right? Just basically.
I mean, you in the right hands and the right mind, and I think you could do it, But,
okay. But it just gives it a different. It's like you say, almost like Middle Easternish type soundage.
I would say like Asian.
Right.
More like an Asian sound, yeah.
Right, and that's because of the half step, whole step thing, and what did you say?
It's missing the third.
And it's missing the third. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, so the same thing when we're doing these power chords. There's no third. So okay. Can you combine like the Eastern scale with that kind of what you call Eastern Asian scale? Could you combine that with like regular scale during the same progression?
As long as there's no notes, clashing underneath, I think it should work. Yeah, probably sound interesting though. But
let's try that. I'll do the same thing and kind of bounce back from one to the other.
Okay. And
just to see what happens.
How about like 4 measures?
Yeah.
4. Okay.
Let's do that. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see. Yeah. So it took on a different twist there. Now, when you play that Asian weird scale against stuff, does it matter what kind of, like you said, as long as it doesn't have like that, what you said, like the third and stuff like that? If you were to play a chord with a third while we're doing with that, would it sound like awful or?
Well, I think the word awful, it's subjective.
Oh, okay.
So I think it depends on what direction you're trying to go.
Okay, so but it would sound kind of off, but it depends on how much off you want it to sound.
Yeah. It'll definitely cause some tension, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Tension. It creates tension. It's because it's not like a solid root note.
Yeah, there'll be more of a push and pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, during spots. So.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, do you do a lot of that Asian scale when you're playing?
Honestly, it depends on what's going on. Sometimes I'll bring it up, sometimes I won't. You know, I'll try different stuff out. You know, maybe I'll try like a blues scale instead. You know,
right.
Depending on how the mood of the song is going.
I see. So in closing, we kind of dove into these scales, right? Against chords. So I guess we kind of dove into how you would approach a solo, doing a regular pentatonic type scale, as opposed to that Asian Egyptian type sound, right? Which is what is it again? It's not pentatonic. It's kind of you're doing half steps and whole steps.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the Phrygian scale because it has that half step.
Okay.
In the beginning, you know, so it's missing the third.
Okay.
So it's a main difference.
All right. So it just gives it a different sound.
Yeah.
So I guess just to be different, like if you like we just did, you can just go from your regular melodic or pentatonic type scales. You can go to that and then come back out of it, right? So okay, so that could be done, and like you said, depending on which direction you want the song to go. All right, so that's pretty interesting. So I guess there is no wrong or right scale. It just depends on the direction you want it to go, right? It depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, I think it's totally subjective, you know. One person might hate what they're hearing, and another person might love it, you know, so.
Okay. So it's just a matter of taste.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's cool to know. So that was pretty interesting because sometimes I don't know how to approach things, whether to go way out there or not, but I guess there's no really wrong or right about it. It just depends on how everything's going at the moment.
Yeah, you can't make everybody happy. It's
right.
impossible.
Okay.
So you got to start with yourself and just take it from there.
All right. So, well, Jan, thanks a lot for explaining that. And I will keep that in mind next time I do solos, whether to go out there, whether to piss some people off. And you say I shouldn't care. You can't please everybody, right?
That's right.
All right. All right. Well, thanks a lot. And hopefully we'll have you back again and we'll talk some more about other issues.
Sounds good.
All right. This is JD with J&D Audio saying thanks, bye, and see you next time.